Alright guys, I'm going old school, well, not really old school, it's a new review, but it's Japanese. Yeah, I'm still into that stuff, it just wasn't a lot of good shows to come out. I don't mean that like all the shows suck, I mean like probably 3 or 4 major shows came out. Or not 3 or 4, like 2? I don't know, it wasn't a lot. And I don't know, there's a big show that wasn't as big as it should have been, but we'll get to that. This is New Japan Pro Wrestling's G1 Climax special. It was the Kantaro Hoshino Memorial Show, I'm pretty sure. From Kobe World Hall. 7,800 fans, sounds about right. Yeah, first match. Oh, by the way, I'm titling some of these matches myself. Our opener is the Ultimate Filler instead of Fighter. TAKA, Michinoku, and Taichi versus Honma, Tomaki, and Mikami, Kyosuke. It didn't annoy me or anything, so that's a start. Taichi started out by not starting out. He kind of kept hiding behind the ropes and going out of the ring, and he wasted about 3 minutes, which really got to the young lion, Mikami. Well, note to self, don't try to wrestle Mikami. He obviously has some amateur experience. He was just owning Taichi, just owning him, just riding him and flipping him around and making him look like an ass, which Taichi is. But yeah, it's really good. Then Mikami, being the young lion, was obviously isolated, beat on, but he showed a lot of toughness. We got to tag the Honma, obviously being a fan favorite, everyone flipped out. He had his nice comeback, and it was pretty cool. All I gotta say is the Honma, lay off the whiskey and cigars, man. That voice is fucked. He sounds like Kane with the voice box. No, Kane. Remember that? He sounds like that, except for no voice box. That's just his voice. Sounds like Marge's sisters. I don't remember the names. Yeah, the match was like useful because he gave you like the kind of a moment for the young lion. So Mikami, he's a good wrestler. Honma's over and Taka's a good wrestler. And Taichi's really good at getting people pissed off. So it just kind of fit. So I don't know. I'm tempted to say this didn't bother me as a rating because I want to give it a score, but not bad might be more fair. Then we had a Kantaro Hoshino memorial match between Kanemoto, Koji, and Makai, number 28. I guess there's a lot of them. I don't know. This was a nice match. I'm not gonna shit all over a tricky match, unless it were like an Adolf Hitler or Uwe Ball tribute match. Then I think a heaping dump on it. But yeah, this match was actually very basic, but good. And it's kind of feel good. So yeah, it was good. It was evil guy versus the New Japan kind of hero. So Kanemoto obviously was the hero, I would say, even though he's more of an anti-hero. Then we had what I like to title 8-Man Clusterfuck Mania or something like that. I should just call it Triple H versus CM Punk. Yeah, it was a clusterfuck. This was Goto, Hirooki, Tenzan, Hiroyoshi, Tamon, Tonga. Ow! I don't know how to do it. I'm not small. And Killer Rabbit was about the worst wrestler in the world against Yano, Toru, Izuka, the Barbara Takahashi, Ishii, Tomohiro, and Gedo. This wasn't the worst match I've ever seen, I guess. Yeah, big surprise that Izuka didn't go ape shit and try to strip down and rape the skinny commentator. LOL, JK. He did. Every single match. You think the skinny fuck would run? Whatever. Yeah, Yano was good. He created chaos. He's not the most athletic guy, but Speaking of athletic, or a lack of athletics, Killer Rabbit who's about as athletic as Michael Jordan's dead father. Yeah, he just killed everything he was in. He's a shit wrestler. I heard someone say he thinks it's Antonio Honda. Yeah, if Honda had landed on his head and forgot how to wrestle, maybe. Yeah, I don't know what Goto is doing in there. And it's kind of like Derek Jeter coming down to Little League. Yeah, I know something about baseball. Everyone knows Derek Jeter. Should. HBO, motherfucker. Yeah, I don't know. All I can say is what Goto said. I hate a rabbit. Yeah, I don't. The finish kind of almost gave me an aneurysm, but you know, like I said, it wasn't the worst match I've ever seen. If Rabbit had been in a one-on-one match, it would have been the worst match I've ever seen in Japan. Like fucking Raja Lion bad. And then we have a match I call Who Gives a Fuck or Who Cares? Nagata Yuji versus Hideo Saito. Saito needs to get the fuck out. His gimmick is alright, but the wrestling, oh my god. Maybe in the like early 80s in the WWF or whatever, because they were kind of into that big man can't really wrestle shit, but god, he's so bad. Nagata has his No Justice, No Life shirt on, which was the best part of the match, honestly, and I don't know, it was almost worth it to see Saito get his ass beat in the last couple minutes, but this match went way too long, and there's post-match antics and whatever. I'd rather see Nagata versus Yano, which I think is coming next. Alright, then we got a surprisingly big match for this early on. The IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship. It was a decision match. Obviously, Bushi Kota was the IWGP Junior Champ, but he got hurt, so Prince Devitt and Kushida were in the decision match to decide a new champ. Bushi's definitely fighting the winner. We'll say that. I got this match at a solid 79, maybe 80%. It started really hot with Kushida just jump starting Devitt, just going right at it, going for the early dive, flying around. When Devitt got the advantage, he worked over the arm quite a bit, the shoulder more specifically, and he locked in what I can only describe as the Paddy label lock. That's right, an Irishman with a label lock. Get it? Paddy. I know Irish people, they love me. Alright, yeah, Devitt was really relentless with his wearing down. It was pretty nice to see his submissions and his just locks and everything. I heard one of the commentators, I guess, called Devitt the ace of the junior heavyweight division, which is true, so. This match just, I don't know, it picked up at one point when Kushida started going for aggressive flash pans and then there's big moves being hit. It was just a really good match. I was impressed. It was the best Devitt match probably since, I don't know, Devitt versus Omega. I think it was better than that maybe. Yeah. Alright, then we got what I call Chaos and Order Collide. It's a cool name. MVP, Taguchi Ryosuke and Tiger Mask 4 versus Tanaka Masato, Davey Richards, and Rocky Romero, the No Remorse Corps. 50%, maybe a little higher. I see there's definitely an IWGP Intercontinental title feud coming between MVP and Tanaka, but yeah, it should be alright. It should be a good match. Tanaka's great. MVP's pretty good. But yeah, there's a little hate between those two. And we had build between Richards and Romero and Taguchi. Tiger Mask was just kind of in there because obviously Devitt was in the title match, but not a bad match. It would have been way better if it was Devitt instead of Tiger, I can tell you how much. Alright, then we got what I call Onway Must Die, like Romeo Must Die. Classic. It's an alright movie. Suzuki Minoru versus Onway Wataru, 50%. You know, everyone says Onway's kind of alright or not bad, but it's like when you know a person, he's like kind of an acquaintance. He's like, I don't know, he's cool. But by cool, you mean like, I don't know, he's not a cop or something. but he's not really your friend. That's kind of how everyone feels about Onoe. Even the crowd. He had to get shit kicked out of him before he got a real reaction. And then Suzuki, he's the ultimate badass. There's no doubt how cool he is. But I don't know. I guess he made Onoe a lot more interesting than he actually is, but it's nothing more than interesting. Yeah, it was an interesting match, I guess. Good decision, I guess. Then we had No Limit Explodes, like the Mega Power explodes. I got a little subtitle for that too. How about Naito versus Takahashi versus Yujiro? No Limit Explodes in and around your mouth. I like it. All right, yeah, Naito comes out with a cool shirt, like kind of like Cena's red one. So, I don't know, it's really cool. So, except for it's him doing this Sky Twister or whatever he calls it. Stardust Press. I don't know. Dude always has the best shirt, so. There was a lot of build. Basically, Naito and Yujiro were having kind of a dissension in the ranks, and they weren't working well together, and they kept losing matches because of miscommunication, bumping into each other, etc. And eventually, Naito started getting over the crowd. It pissed off Yujiro, so he stabbed him in the back. We got this. Eventually, they had other matches, but they could have had a good feud, but I guess they just had one. They had a throwaway match, and this is probably the end of the feud. So I don't know. Yeah, like 52%. Naito didn't do much wrong. He was actually really good and over. I don't know. Yujiro was all right, but he's more of a tag wrestler. I would not leave him as a singles wrestler. He's like he's not Road Dogg bad, but he needs a partner. He's the power man of the tag team. He's a smaller guy. All right, then we had what I would call generic American Big Man versus Japanese King Kong. Lance Archer versus Makabe Togi. 55%, sorry. For one reason. Makabe and the gigantic Gaijin battled all around the ring for the first 10, 12 minutes. Not 12, but first like 6 or 7 minutes, and then they finally got in the ring, and there wasn't too much happening in the ring, which was good, because Archer's kind of, he's not a weak worker, but he's no Sheamus. Then again, who is? Fella. Yeah, Archer just, I did kind of well playing the dominant invading heel, and I could see the New Japan office bringing him back a few times. I think they should bring him back maybe 2-3 times a year, and it'll be fine. He's just not a wrestler you want to see on a consistent basis, because you'll realize how generic he is when he doesn't have a good opponent for his style. Yeah, don't fuck with an untrained gorilla. Unchained gorilla, not untrained. The finish is brutal, and I was somewhat surprised, because going in, I was looking forward to this match about as much as a guy looks forward to a colonoscopy. So if you don't know what that is, Google it. Or ask or something. Alright, then we got our main event for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. Tanahashi Hiroshi versus Nakamura Shinsuke, the challenger. This is the Battle of the Aces, obviously, and definitely had some kind of big match feel going on. They showed history of the G1 and the IWGP Heavyweight title, and how like so many people win it. After winning the G1, they win the world title, and blah 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 blah. And, yeah, I don't know. Then we got the match started, and I got to give Nakamura the advantage on the hair. He had the cooler hair. Tanahashi looks like he hasn't had a shower since Clinton. I don't know, it's not really Japanese, but it's a reference. Yeah, despite knowing each other like a 13-year-old knows his body, with a dick, both men started, I don't know, kind of a feeling out process, and then they started with sort of grappling, like jockeying for position, and that looked pretty cool. But Tanahashi's kind of winning because of the speed or whatever, and then he decides to exchange with Nakamura. Bad fucking idea. He loses the tooth. Nakamura fucks him up with knees and punches and elbows and whatever else he can throw at him. Yeah, then Tanahashi does the smart thing, goes to the leg because he's getting his ass beat in a strike exchange, which naturally. And yeah, Tanahashi does some good work, but then Nakamura just shrugs it off. Like, remember Jesse Ventura and the Predator? I ain't got time to bleed. Well, Nakamura didn't have time to sell his knee, so he just went to work on Tanahashi's arm, which he sold very well. Beat the hell out of it, put him in some arm bars, put him in some danger. It was good stuff. As the pace kind of quickened, Nakamura's technique and superior striking failed because Tanahashi was too quick. Sometimes a quicker striker will strike a more dangerous striker. Check out BJ Penn versus Frank Edgar. Frank Edgar was just too damn quick, too quick with his hands, too fast with his head. That's kind of what Tanahashi did, and I don't know, he busted out some cool shit. Nakamura did too, but overall, there's just too many fucking sling blades, and the finishing stretch just killed my interest, and I don't know, kind of stopped this from being 4 stars and put it at about 3.5, 3 3/4, whatever. Your next challenger will be Naito Tatsuya, and I don't want to spoil anything. Overall, I'd probably give this like a 7 out of 10, maybe. I'm a pretty nice guy. It didn't flow right. Even good matches seemed boring. The crowd was good, and just, I don't know. Sometimes that happens in Japan, right? Alright, I will be watching tonight, or tomorrow morning, whatever, Dean Ambrose versus Seth Rollins. Both matches. They're legendary matches in FCW. Apparently, they're better than any of the matches on this Japanese card, so, you know. Dean Ambrose, if you don't know, is John Moxley, which, let's face it, Ambrose is actually a better name than Moxley. And Seth Rollins is Tyler Black, which is an equally cool name, especially if you like Henry Rollins. So I'm going to watch them, and I'll leave a link to both matches. But just to warn you ahead of time, I've heard 4 stars, 4 1/4, and 4.5 for either of the matches. So yeah, you're going to want to watch them, unless you're only into Japanese stuff. But even then, I think it's going to be good. Alright guys, I'm going to get some apple juice, and have a good night. Sayonara. Big sweet Japanese, I know more than that.